Fast forward to Shizuku's home. Her father is more than a little surprised to find a random teenage boy standing in his living room. Yeah, any dad would have questions. Shizuku casually explains that her mother is still at work, so she's making dinner herself. While Haru is taking a shower, he notices a mysterious shadow outside the bathroom. Naturally, instead of putting on his clothes first, he runs around the house half-dressed looking for the intruder. Bro's survival instincts are completely backwards. Shizuku catches him immediately and tells him to stop acting exactly like her dad. Haru eventually crashes on the living room couch, and Shizuku quietly sets up a proper futon for him. Meanwhile, over at Michin's place, Yuzin finally shows up asking where Haru is. Michin calmly replies, he won't be coming today. Yuzin simply finishes his tea and leaves, which somehow feels even more intimidating than if he'd started yelling. The next morning, everyone is having breakfast together. Haru casually mentions, I swear someone was staring at me all night. Shizuku shrugs, that was probably my little brother. Honestly, having a strange boy sleep in the house is exactly the kind of thing little siblings would investigate like FBI agents. By now, Haru has become surprisingly comfortable around Shizuku's family. Fast forward to school. Everyone gathers around to check the latest exam rankings. This time, Shizuku places second. Haru takes first. Looks like the human tornado is also an academic monster. Haru happily invites Shizuku to hang out and celebrate. She immediately declines. Losing first place only makes her want to study harder. Yep, her revenge arc is powered entirely by textbooks. Just then, Sasayan shows up with registration forms for the upcoming sports day. Instead of signing up, Shizuku heads straight to her teacher to ask for a recheck of her exam paper. On the way there, she catches herself thinking, when did I start falling this hard for Haru? Yeah, she finally admits it to herself. At that moment, a ball accidentally flies toward Haru. One of the girls nervously runs over to retrieve it. Watching the awkward interaction, Shizuku gives Haru some surprisingly useful advice. If you keep making that scary face, people will always be afraid of you. Try smiling once in a while. Haru actually listens. And somehow, it works. The girls who used to avoid him suddenly want to talk to him. Congratulations, Shizuku. You accidentally buffed your own romantic rival. That's like handing your opponent the legendary weapon before the boss fight. Sports day practice begins. Natsum turns out to be surprisingly athletic. Guess all those online reflexes transferred into real life. After practice, Shizuku and Natsum notice something interesting. A group of girls has surrounded Haru, and they're feeding him lunch. Bro unlocked the reverse harem route by smiling once. Meanwhile, Sasayan watches everything with a smile. I'm glad Haru's life is finally changing. He hated school ever since middle school. Shizuku asks why he cares so much about Haru. Sasayan answers without hesitation, I owe him more than I can ever repay. Back with Haru, while the girls are still fussing over him, a quiet girl wearing glasses walks over. She politely tells everyone the teacher wants them to get ready for the next event. Nobody listens, so she quietly walks away alone. A little later, Haru notices the same girl being cornered by a few older students. Without thinking, he steps in. Unfortunately, Haru only knows one conflict resolution technique: violence. An argument turns into a fight, and within seconds, another senior is lying on the ground. Again. Honestly, Haru's fists have more screen time than some side characters, but this time something feels different. He looks around, every girl nearby is terrified. Even the girl he was trying to protect is scared of him. That realization hits hard. For the first time, Haru understands that his aggression hurts people, even when his intentions are good. Before any teacher can arrive and punish him, Shizuku grabs his hand and pulls him away. As they walk, Haru quietly admits to himself he repeated the exact mistake he promised he'd stop making. Shizuku gently reassures him, you're a good person. You just don't know how to handle things the right way yet. One day, everyone will see how kind you really are. Those words finally calm him down. The two slowly stop walking, look into each other's eyes, and almost drift closer. Almost. Because, of course, Sasayan appears at the worst possible moment. Haru, your next practice match is starting. Perfect timing, buddy. Haru turns back to Shizuku with a grin. Promise me something. If my team wins, you'll come with me on summer vacation. Shizuku smiles. Good luck. Haru waves goodbye and rushes off to his match. Fast forward a little. Haru, Shizuku, Sasayan, Natsum, and Michin are all enjoying summer vacation together. Which means, Haru's team actually won. The group spends the day fishing, messing around, and just enjoying the trip together. For once, nobody's getting punched. That's already a successful vacation by Haru standards. While everyone relaxes, Michin finally starts talking about Haru's past. While everyone is relaxing, Michin finally reveals something about Haru's family. Turns out, Michin is actually Haru's cousin, and Haru also has an older brother. The moment Michin starts explaining further, Haru immediately cuts him off. Don't. Yeah, whatever happened in that family definitely isn't a happy story. After the picnic, everyone returns to Michin's sports center. The second Haru walks in, he immediately turns around and bolts. Because standing there is his older brother, Yuzin. Natsum instantly recognizes him. Wait, isn't he the guy who keeps taking money from Michin? Yuzin laughs. Nope, you've got it backwards. I'm the one who loaned Michin the money, so he's paying me back. Well, there goes everyone's crime drama theory. Yuzin then smiles and explains that Haru has always reacted this way. Every time he sees me, he runs. Sibling relationships, either they're best friends, or they're training for the Olympics. Before leaving, Yuzin thanks Shizuku. Because of you, Haru finally started going back to school. Later that evening, while Shizuku was walking home, Haru suddenly pulls her into a quiet corner. Relax, he's not starting another fight. He just wants answers. What exactly did Yuzin tell you? Shizuku repeats everything she heard. Haru immediately denies it. We're not some happy family. Shizuku asks what really happened, but Haru refuses to explain. Instead, he changes the subject. As Shizuku starts walking away, she suddenly turns back. We have a lot of watermelons at home. If you want some, come over. Honestly, that's probably the cutest invitation either of them could have managed. Later, Haru is happily destroying slices of watermelon at Shizuku's house. While watching him, Shizuku realizes something. She still knows almost nothing about his past. Noticing her expression, Haru apologizes for hiding so much from her. Shizuku forgives him, but only on one condition. You have to go on a date with me. Smooth move. Even Haru wasn't expecting that. The next day, Haru gets ready for the big date at Michin's sports center. He confidently says, I totally understand daytime dates, but I have absolutely no idea how night dates work. Michin immediately stops him. Don't overcomplicate it. If your plan is terrible, Shizuku's going to be disappointed. Solid advice. The following morning, Haru meets Shizuku at school. I've been waiting here since 6 o'clock, just to see you. Every student nearby immediately turns to look at them. Congratulations, Haru. You just announced your crush to the entire school. Meanwhile, Natsum catches the flu, so everyone tells her to wear a mask. Poor girl can't catch a break. Later, while watching Shizuku study, Haru asks, when do you even rest? She fires the question right back. When do you study? I've literally never seen you open a book. Haru casually drops another surprise. Since I skipped almost all of middle school, I just studied everything at home. So this guy really is a genius. He's just running the world's worst operating system. Suddenly, Haru gets excited about their date. So, where are we going? Shizuku answers with a completely straight face. The library. Of course. Only Shizuku would turn a romantic date into a study session. A little later, they notice a crowd of girls gathered nearby. When Shizuku goes to check, she discovers they're all surrounding Yuzin. The moment Haru spots his older brother, he immediately dives into the bushes. Again, this man hides from his brother like he's avoiding a final boss battle. After Yuzin leaves, Haru slowly crawls out of the bushes. Nearby, the shy girl with glasses gets startled by his sudden appearance. Haru asks, my brother's gone, right? Then he notices she's carrying the class representative notebook. He looks genuinely confused. How did you become class rep? The girl quietly replies, maybe, because I wear glasses? Honestly, that's the funniest self-burn of the episode. Just then, Haru's phone buzzes. It's a text from Yuzin. Attached is a selfie with Shizuku. The message says, guess where we are? Yeah, he knew exactly how to annoy his little brother. Haru immediately storms off in search of them. Meanwhile, Shizuku asks Yuzin why he and Haru can't seem to get along. Yuzin hands her a box of donuts before answering. Apparently, the two have fought ever since they were kids. Haru was always getting into trouble. He skipped school constantly, caused endless problems, and eventually, their father kicked him out of the house. Now their father wants Haru to come back, but Haru refuses to even listen. Just then, Haru finally arrives. Without saying a word, he grabs Shizuku's hand and starts pulling her away. Yuzin calls after him. At least stay and talk for 1 minute. Yuzin calls after Haru. Just stay and listen for 1 minute. But Haru doesn't even look back. Don't ever tell me to come home again. Those words hit a lot harder than he lets on. As they walk away, Haru suddenly turns to Shizuku. And, don't meet with my brother anymore. Shizuku immediately asks, why not? Haru reminds her, you said you love me. As if that somehow explains everything. Shizuku gently shakes her head. I wasn't asking because of him. I just wanted to understand you better. She reaches up and softly places a hand on his cheek. Now I know your childhood wasn't a happy one. For a moment, Haru's usual carefree smile disappears. I don't really remember those days anymore. And honestly, I don't want to. You're here now. I'd rather live in the present. For someone who jokes around all the time, that might be the most honest thing he's said all season. The next morning, life goes back to normal. Well, as normal as life can be when Haru follows Shizuku around like a GPS with separation anxiety. Seriously, if she takes 3 steps, he's already on step 4. While Shizuku and Natsum are putting their things into their lockers, the quiet girl with glasses walks over. Her name is Oshima, the class representative. She thanks Haru for saving her from those older students the other day. Haru looks genuinely confused. You're the class rep, so why don't you have any friends? Only Haru could ask something that rude, while somehow sounding completely innocent. Watching the conversation, Shizuku notices something. The way Oshima smiles. The way she looks at Haru. Yeah, she has a crush on him. Oh, looks like our romance just unlocked another player. The following morning, Shizuku notices a strange feeling growing inside her. Every time Haru talks to another girl, something starts bothering her. What is this feeling? Congratulations, you've discovered jealousy, one of romance's least enjoyable side effects. At home, her father tells her to read the latest fax her mother sent. Yes, a fax. This anime is reminding us it came from a different era. Her mother simply checks in to see how everyone's doing. Back at school, Oshima is texting a friend from another school. Even though she's the class representative, almost nobody talks to her. She spends most of her time completely alone. Then she overhears a group of girls by the window. Look, Haru's here, and that's the girl he's dating these days. Oshima quietly lowers her eyes. That rumor hurts more than she'd like to admit. Meanwhile, Haru walks into class wearing glasses. Why? Because today they're choosing class representatives. For some reason, Haru has convinced himself that wearing glasses automatically qualifies him for the job. Bro really thought glasses were a job requirement. Unfortunately, nobody votes for him. He doesn't get picked for anything, and he walks away looking genuinely heartbroken. Nearby, Sasayan and Natsum start talking. They've both realized that Oshima likes Haru. Shizuku overhears them, then quietly says she doesn't care, because apparently she's more worried about her grades. Yeah, sure, Shizuku, whatever helps you sleep at night. Later, Oshima is eating lunch alone on the school stairs. Haru marches over, still annoyed. Your glasses advice was terrible. I wanted to become class representative too. Honestly, only Haru could blame someone else's glasses for losing an election. Then he looks at her again. You're already class rep, so why don't you have any friends? Oshima sighs. And you're not even class rep, yet somehow you're dating Natsum. Haru immediately shakes his head. No, Natsum's just my friend. The person I love is Shizuku. No hesitation, no embarrassment, just a full confession in the middle of a staircase. This man treats private information like public announcements. Right then, Natsum walks over. Haru immediately comes up with another mission. We have to help Oshima make some friends. He even organizes a small gathering in the library. When Haru asks Shizuku to help, she refuses. Haru looks genuinely disappointed. I didn't expect that from you. The two leave in opposite directions. Looks like they're finally having their first real disagreement. Later, during PE class, Shizuku and Oshima end up as exercise partners. Oshima apologizes for all the awkward tension between them. Shizuku simply smiles. It's okay. After class, Oshima goes back to her usual spot on the stairs. Haru joins her there. He quietly admits that he feels like Shizuku has been avoiding him lately. Oshima sighs. I guess nobody's going to ask me to make friends anymore. Then she looks at Haru for a moment and asks him the question she's been holding back. Oshima hesitates for a moment, then quietly asks Haru, when you say you love Shizuku, do you mean romantically? For the first time in forever, Haru gets nervous. But before he can answer, Oshima quickly looks away. You don't have to tell me. I don't even know why I asked. Yeah, she already knew the answer. She just wasn't ready to hear it. A little later, Natsum brings Shizuku over, while Sasayan and Natsum wander off to play around together. That leaves Haru and Shizuku sitting awkwardly with Oshima, and before long, they both start complaining about each other. Haru pouts. She's been avoiding me. Shizuku immediately defends herself. I'm not avoiding you. I'm just focusing on my studies. Then, after a long pause, she quietly admits something. Whenever we get too close, I start feeling strange. Haru thinks for exactly half a second before replying. You should probably see a doctor. Romance level, -100. Bro really diagnosed love like it was the flu. Even Oshima can't take it anymore. She immediately starts scolding Haru. That's not what she means. You seriously don't understand her at all. The moment Haru realizes he's messed up, Oshima is already embarrassed by how emotional she got and runs away. Natsum nudges Haru. Go after her. Haru catches up with Oshima and awkwardly scratches his head. I'm definitely not an expert. But you don't have to force yourself to become someone else just to make other people happy. Those simple words finally help Oshima relax. Sometimes Haru accidentally says exactly the right thing. Keyword, accidentally. The story then flashes back to Shizuku's past. She's always been obsessed with studying. She once canceled a fun outing just so she could stay home and review her notes. If something threatened her grades, she cut it out of her life without hesitation. Friends, hobbies, fun, basically everything. Back at Michin's sports center, Natsum and Sasayan stop by for a visit. Michin casually tells them, Haru and Shizuku made up. They're on a library date right now. Natsum freezes. Wait, she never told me. Does she not think of me as a friend? Michin smiles. Maybe she just hasn't had the chance. If you ask her, I'm sure she'll tell you. Sometimes friends don't hide things because they don't trust you. Sometimes they're just awkward. Speaking of awkward, at the library, Haru can't stop staring at Shizuku. Meanwhile, Shizuku keeps reminding herself, I won't let him distract me anymore. I've sworn to stay focused. She's trying to fight her feelings with pure academic determination. Bold strategy. After another failed attempt to get closer to her, Haru heads back to Michin looking completely defeated. Seeing that, Michin hands him an old photograph. It's a picture of Aunt Kyoko, the woman who took Haru in when he had nowhere else to go. As Haru looks at the photo, old memories slowly begin coming back. The next day at school, Haru is lying on the ground next to Nagoya, as usual, because apparently that's normal now. Oshima walks over. Haru smiles. I haven't seen you since you yelled at me. Oshima quietly admits that his advice helped her. She's become more comfortable being herself, even if she's still alone. Then Haru sighs. Shizuku rejected me. Oshima blinks. There's no way. Even she refuses to believe it. Nearby, Natsume overhears the entire conversation. She walks over and gives Haru a motivational speech. Don't act like a loser. If you really like her, then keep trying. Honestly, Natsume is out here giving better relationship advice than the romance guidebook. Later, Haru walks around with Nagoya, wondering why girls always end up yelling at him. At that moment, he remembers something Aunt Kyoko once told him. One day, you'll meet someone who makes you feel happy just by being near them. As if on cue, Haru looks up and spots Shizuku sleeping by a classroom window. He quietly walks over. She wakes up. Without wasting a second, Haru confesses again. I love you. Again. This guy has the persistence of a YouTube ad. Shizuku repeats what she's been telling herself all along. Nothing about you can distract me anymore. I won't fall for it. Haru smiles. Just saying that doesn't make it true. You already admitted you loved me once. Checkmate. For once, he has a point. Trying to change the mood, Haru asks her to go somewhere with him. Shizuku refuses. Again. And within seconds, another argument breaks out. Fast forward to the next exam results. Everyone gathers around the board once more. And once again, Haru finishes ahead of Shizuku. Bro really turned I'll impress my crush into an academic training montage. Looking at Shizuku, Haru simply smiles. Don't worry, just work a little harder next time. The words were meant as encouragement, but to Shizuku, they sounded like the world's most annoying victory speech. She glares at Haru, turns around, and storms off. Meanwhile, Haru remembers Aunt Kyoko's advice and immediately runs after her, because apparently this man has only two speeds, following Shizuku, and sprinting after Shizuku. Determined to reclaim first place, Shizuku signs up for extra cram school classes. There, she unexpectedly runs into Yamaken, one of Haru's old friends. The next day at school, Shizuku is studying on the stairs while Haru quietly stands nearby. She hands him a ticket for the upcoming school festival. A perfectly normal interaction, until Haru suddenly grabs her hand and kisses it. Bro, you're already on thin ice. Why are you bringing a flamethrower? Shizuku instantly pulls her hand back. If you keep doing things like that, I won't be able to trust you. Then she lays down a brand new rule. From now on, stay at least 2 meters away from me. 2 whole meters. Social distancing existed long before COVID if you dated Haru. Completely devastated, Haru wanders into a park. He starts kicking and breaking random wooden boards while venting to Natsume about everything that happened. Then he even builds a little barrier around Nagoya's chicken coop and names the barrier Shizuku. Yeah, the heartbreak has officially reached maximum weirdness. Natsume sighs. No girl is ever going to like someone who keeps touching her whenever he wants. Honestly, that's probably the smartest thing Haru has heard all season. Later, Shizuku runs into Sasayan and his friends while they're planning where to set up their booth for the school festival. She offers a few helpful ideas, but before they can finish planning, a group of seniors barges in. They shove Shizuku aside and announce they're taking that spot instead. Naturally, Haru chooses violence. Again, the argument turns into another fight, which earns their class the absolute worst location for their festival booth. Great job, Haru. Your fists have terrible project management skills. As punishment, Haru is forced to pull weeds around the school. While he's working, Oshima walks over. She gives him some honest advice. If you really care about Shizuku, you can't keep solving everything with violence. Then she starts walking away. Haru calls after her, hey, class rep. She sighs. My name isn't Class Republic, it's Oshima. As she leaves, she quietly thinks to herself, I really fell for the wrong guy. Ouch, that one hurt. Later that afternoon, Shizuku, Natsume, and Sasayan head out to check their latest grades. Along the way, they run into Yamaken and his group. As Yamaken walks beside Shizuku, she asks the obvious question, why do you even hang out with those idiots? Yamaken just laughs, because they're fun. Fair enough. Inside the building, Shizuku checks the rankings. She's back on top. First place. Mission accomplished. She smiles to herself. Looks like all those extra study sessions finally paid off. When everyone heads back outside, they find Yamaken's friends begging Sasayan and Natsume for festival tickets. After getting rejected over and over, door, Shizuku quietly steps in and hands Yamakin her extra tickets. She smiles to herself. If Haru were here, he'd probably do the same thing. Looks like she's starting to understand him more than she'd like to admit. Later that evening, Haru is walking home when he finds Shizuku waiting for him. She hands him a package that Natsume wanted him to have. Haru hesitates. It looks like he wants to say something important. Before he can even open his mouth, Shizuku cuts him off. I'm not going to fall in love with you again. Savage. Haru just smiles. Then I'll prove you wrong. He reaches over to help carry her heavy bag. A sweet gesture. Right up until he gets too close again and starts acting weird. Seriously, this guy gets within arm's reach and immediately loses access to the rational part of his brain. Shizuku gets flustered all over again, turns around, and runs away. Meanwhile, she keeps telling herself she's making the right decision. Finally,